Where was your biggest wipeout?
Oh my God. There's wipeouts, huh? It's, when you think about that, right? Because it's like how much times when your life flashed in front of your eyes, and there's many times actually, it's all generalized in different areas. Like I had heavy wipeouts at Makaha where, it felt like, okay, that's it, I'm ready to black out. Let me pick one. I think one that stands out for me was my early years where I was competing in the pro circuit and I was training at Sunset. And, this is one big day, and it was a competition also too in one of the Triple Crowns. And back then there was no jet skis back then, right? So I took off on big wave and ended up, like wiping out and came up and had my board and I tried to paddle through. So I tried to duck dive through one of the lips. Sunset is powerful and huge.
Mm-hmm.
And the lip broke right on me, but it also broke on me and broke through my surfboard. So it knocked all the air out of my lungs. It squeezed me between the board and my board broke. So I was underwater tumbling around. Everybody knows if you ever get hit in the diaphragm, you like underwater, it's different
Mm-hmm.
because it's like you got your air knocked out, right?
Wow.
So I'm underwater now, no breath, everything came out, tumbling, and I'm trying to get to the surface. And then I pull up and, I got this short board, so it's not really getting me up. And right when I get up to the surface, I try to take on breath and the wave right there, and that whole, right? Because you got hit. And I got hit from that next wave. So no breath, right? Tumbling around, tumbling around. And then now I'm trying to come up and I feel this velvet black surrounding me, like my eyes just going into blackout, my body kind of quivering. And I gotta fight. I gotta fight because I'm gonna black out. So I fought and I just exploded to the top and I forced myself to breathe. And I took one big breath and I got the breath in. But the third wave pummeled me, right? So I'm already weak. I got on breath in. I was just blacking out almost. And then my vision came back underwater. But I'm now getting into this throes where I cannot control my body. My body's quivering underwater and I'm holding my gut and I'm going, oh, only one hand swimming and just tumbling around. And I'm going, oh, this is it. Like that, I gonna guarantee be gone. So I said, heck the pain, heck the fight. I mean, the blackout fight, gotta fight. So I fought, and then broke the surface again, took another big breath, right? And then by then I got hit one more time. So again, vision came back, but I was all weak, pushed me kind of into the channel and stuff. And there was no more waves, but I got up, but I was too weak to even swim. And then my board was gone already. So I just remember like out of it, and I look up and remember back then we were lifeguarding, so we were on surfboards and rescue tubes. So I seen the caddies outside, and caddies is the caddying for the other surfers. So I see the caddies and I need help, so I kind of wave at them. And I remember this clearly because they all look at me and they all wave back like, "Oh, that's Brian." And in my head, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna kick you guys' ass so bad," right? So I went into survival mode and I started, we in life saving, you learn these survival strokes of how to float and relax. So I put my mind into, okay, survive and just take breaths and relax. But by then, I was in the rip and being ripped out to sea, going, right? So just surviving and I'm going, oh man, the guys was waving, but nobody was coming towards me, right? They thought like I was all right. And Derek Dona, who was lifeguarding, he saw me. He jumped in on the rescue board, and then he came paddling out. And I was in the rip, just like losing it, right, trying to survive. And then he just grabbed my hair, my head, boom, yanked me up, and put me on a surfboard, and he paddled me in. So
Oh.
and then the funny part it wasn't funny, but he got me up. Ambulance there, checked me out, gave me O2, so everything comes back. And, it's like anything, right? You get into a fight, you got hit in the gut, and that kind of stuff. So I advanced my heat, right? So I got to go back out. So I going, oh my God. And Derek going, come on, get back on the horse. And I'm going, yeah, yeah. I got my bigger board. So I going, okay, I just gonna catch some bigger waves, right? So I go, okay, I'll go surf. So now you intimidated, right? Because I just got a heavy hit. So I paddle for this big wave, and what happens? I wipe out.
Oh my god.
So I'm on the water going like, oh my God. But I think that was a good lesson because I got out of that wipeout, I paddled out, and it got it out of my system.
Uh-huh.
So that was neat, because I was like, okay. Then I started charging
Yeah, yeah.
and started going and stuff too. So I advanced that round, and then I lost right before the finals. And at that time, it was at sunset, it was the Billabong, and I made, what was it, the quarters, and I just missed. They was going to have the semis or the finals at Waimea the next day. So anyway, that's one of many stories.
Yeah, I bet you have tons.
I got tons of like near death wipeout stories. I mean, you got to ask me about like areas, right? Whether it was Piahi or Makaha, Waimea. I got tons of those stories. Same like rescues. I got thousands of rescues. I had people running up to me and going, they know my whole life story. Brian, remember the rescue? And I'm looking at them going blank because, it's like, the podcast you did, 3 years from before or something, right? So, yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. It's funny because the closest I ever got to drowning in surfing was Sunset too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. It was the first time I was surfing with my ex. We went out because she lived right over there. And then we went out and used her brand new pink longboard. And it wasn't even that big, but I went a couple ways. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Okay. I'm also intimidated surfing North Shore because I'm a townie.
Yeah.
I surf town. But I went on a couple. I was like, okay, it's not too bad. And then this like rogue set came in, and I was still trying to paddle out, and I was like, just made it over. And then I got to the top of one, just made it over. And then after that, there's one just about to crash right on me. I was like, I don't know what to do. And I guess I wasn't like, and I used to surfing that way. So I don't know if I just like ditched my board or something and went down. I forget what I did, but it just smashed right on me and the board came up. Board was broken.
Oh.
And I just remember being underwater and like kind of like chilling because, that's what I heard. You just kind of wait it out.
Yeah.
And then I start paddling. I'm like, okay, I'm still paddling. And like I keep going and going and going. Like, why am I not at the top? I didn't realize how deep it is over there.
Yeah.
So I like barely made it, and I was like I had to paddle on like one half of a board. So I still had at least half of a board, but it was all like broken. So I was like cut up.
Oh God.
But yeah, that was my one time at Sunset.
Yeah.
Not nearly as bad as yours though. So. That's crazy. You should do a podcast of like every episode is just one wipeout.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
just telling the story of one wipeout. Okay, next question comes from Dane Arakawa. Shout out to my friend Dane. He says, what does it mean to you to be a waterman and come from such a legendary surf family?
I think being on waterman, because the word waterman literally been watered down, right? Because it's like you bodyboard, you longboard, you do this. People consider you on waterman. To me, waterman it's a culture because, living in the ocean, living the life in the ocean is like being a water woman, a waterman, because it's like, feed off the ocean, learn off the ocean, educate yourself, your school, your church. I mean, the ocean is your life, it's your connection, it's your umbilical cord. Like for me, my kids, when they were born, I had their pico put into my favorite spot, Makaha Point, right? That's where the pico connected because, it's that pico represents all that energy, that knowledge that when they were in the mother's womb, it's that spiritual reconnection, especially for my kids, right? Feeling so connected, all the knowledge that we have there. So, for me, it's that being a water person that you can just live in abundance, You can thrive, right? You can enjoy life. And that's what, a waterman or water woman is how much can you thrive in the ocean, and not just you, but sharing of your knowledge and your skill with people around you. That's the whole water community, you know. So again, sometimes I feel like putting labels on somebody, you know, it's like just that, right? The label on the can. To me, what's more important is the content in that can.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's inside that content, you know. What's the value system? How was you raised? How are you brought up? How do you share that, you know, fruitful, you know, drink to the rest of the people around you? You know, how do you carry on that legacy?